Hey everybody, it is Mike. I'm going to do my top 20 in 2020 challenge this month. It was 80s horror. I'm going to be straight up with you. I didn't put any of the big franchises in here, mainly because it would pretty much all be Halloween and Friday the 13th for me, since I like so many of those movies in the 80s. So I just decided I'm just going to do my favorite standalone for the most standalone horror movies. I could have, like I said, done Halloween or Friday the 13th. Was never much of a Child's Play fan or a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I liked the first one or two in both of those, and three in Child's Play. And after that, they just kind of went off the rails for me. So, yeah. So this is my own personal little list of some of the movies I go to often, as far as 80s horror. So this is it. So at number 20 is a movie that was released in 1987. This is a relatively new watch for me. Blood Rage. Fun movie. A little wacky. But yeah, this is an Arrow release. So got both that and that. Both are pretty cool. So yeah, that's number 20 for me. I do have one tie in here. I just couldn't decide which one I like best, so I said, screw it. It's my list. I'll have 21. All right, the 1981 release of Funhouse. I love this movie, The Funhouse. This was one of the first ones I remember, ones I remember seeing on cable a lot as in my 20s. So I had the VHS of it. I actually bought the VHS from a video store that I used to work at. So, Funhouse, 1981. 1986's Maximum Overdrive is always a fun little ride. Silly movie, but I loved it. I particularly enjoyed, what is her name? I'll never remember. The bride in this one, if you've seen this movie, you know what I'm talking about. Her voice just goes right through it. I think she's the voice of one of the Simpsons or whatever. But yeah, I like her a lot. But I thought Emilio Estevez was really good in this, and yeah, I kind of enjoyed. I enjoy watching this movie. It's a fun little movie to watch. Another relatively new one to me is Fall Break. Which is actually The Mutilator now. So this is my number 17. It was released in 1984. Fun movie. Another Arrow release. A little bit cheesy, but I really enjoy it a lot. It has grown on me quite a bit. All right, number 16 for me is another relatively new one in my collection. I watched this one. I remember seeing this just before dawn. Yeah, it's a fun little out in the woods kind of movie. I had forgotten about this one for a long time, and then Code Red put it out. And can't remember, one of you guys, could have been Joe, could have been Jason, could have been Brad. I don't know. One of you guys talked about this movie, and it made me remember it. So yeah, I've watched this like 5 times. All right, number 15 is a movie that seems to get hate. Oh, by the way, this one was released in 1981. This one was also released in 1981, Hell Night. It gets hate. I don't know why. People want to bitch about it, but I think it's a fun little movie. I love Linda Blair and everything. It had Peter Barton, who I like. It had Vincent Van Patten in it, who I liked at the time. Yeah, it's a fun little monster or ghoulish, yeah, movie. Liked it. All right, 1988. Love this movie. This is Deep Star 6. I really bought this because of Nia Peoples. She was a girl that was on the TV show Fame, and she put out some albums. She's a good little actress. But it also had Greg Evigan and some other people in it. Fun little monster movie. I like this movie. I watch it often. One that quickly rose in the ranks for me, even though I'm not one of those guys who like a lot of gratuitous nudity in movies. I do like the Slumber Party Massacre. Yeah, he's crazy with that drill, but it's a fun movie. It's kind of very suspenseful. And that was released in '82. That's my number 13. Number 12 was released in '88, and that was the remake of The Blob. Love this movie. I love all the Blobs, but this one was really good. A lot of fun, really, really tense, and oof. Number 11 was released in 1984, and this was another movie that really relies on the tension more than any of the gore, which are the kind of horror movies I go for the most part. And this was released in 1984, and this was The Hitcher. And I remember my best friend at the time, his name was Robert. He had a girlfriend named Mary, and I had a girlfriend named Barb. And we had no idea what this movie was about. We just thought it was going to be like a little action-y kind of movie. Oh no, scared the crap out of those girls. Heard about this for years after that. But yeah, that's my number 11. Alright, so number 10 is where I put my tie. The first one is a 1980 release. I love this movie. I remember seeing this several times at my brother's house when I would babysit. And that is, He Knows You're Alone. This is about some creep that is killing off brides-to-be. And he goes after this one girl. And yeah, it's really intense. It's a lot of fun. Some pretty good kills in this one. And that was 1980. And then the other one at number 10 was a movie I just recently reviewed. And that is this fun little movie called Death Valley. Love this movie. Oh my god. I had this on VHS for the longest. As a matter of fact, I think I may still have it. I am not sure. But I had to get it on Blu-ray. Love it. Little Christmas Story guy here. Actually, I remember him more from this than Christmas Story because I've only sat through the Christmas Story one time. But this was the 1982 release. Number 9 is The Awesome Maniac, released in 1980. This is the original. I do have the Blu-ray version of this. For some reason, I have the, I don't know why I have duplicate copies of everything, but I do. Some of them are going to go up for sale, but number 9, Maniac, Tom Savini, awesome movie, and the remake is good as well. Alright, number 8 was released in '88. And that's my buddy Pumpkinhead. I love Pumpkinhead. I love all 4 of them, even though they get, progressively lower budget as it goes along, but that's okay. Yeah, I liked old Pumpkinhead. And, of course, it has our guy in it. What's his name? Lance Hendrickson. So, and then for number 7, is another classic, and I also had this on Blu-ray, but I just found the DVD first. And that is 1982's The Thing. Okay. Kurt Russell is amazing in this movie. Overall, this movie, to be quite honest with you, I went and saw this with a friend of mine named Kian. He was like 3 years younger than I was. We went and saw this movie. I got up and walked out. But the dog scene flipped me right out. I couldn't. So he had to come outside out in the thing, get me. Here, this 15-year-old boy is dragging this 17-year-old boy back in the theater. It was too funny. But yeah, The Thing. And it still freaks me out today, but I love it. Another favorite is another creature feature. This is number 6. It was released in 1980, and I wish it would get a decent release. And that is Alligator with Robert Forster. Such a good movie. Such a fun little big monster eating people. I love the wedding scene when he just goes through there and trashes everything. So fun. Alright, top 5. This was kind of hard for me. Okay, and just a little intermission here. I did not put any, like, Aliens. I like the first one. Second, and Aliens, Alien and Aliens, but I didn't put any of those on there. I didn't put any of the Predator on there. Truthfully, I think I might just do a top 20 in 20 franchise movies. So, but I just decided I was going to do this list just standalone for the most part horror movies. So it was hard for me to kind of put these 5 in order because I love them all. But I went ahead and put Happy Birthday to Me at number 5. This had my girl Melissa Sue Anderson in it. It was released in 1980. You notice most of my horror movie favorites are in the early 80s, early to mid 80s. But yeah, love Happy Birthday to Me. This movie had some of the greatest kills, especially that shish kebab one. But yeah, fun. All right, now this one was really hard for these last 4. I could probably interchange the next 3. I don't know. I love them all. So they're all kind of number 1 for me, but I put this one at number 4. Prom Night. Love Prom Night, 1980. Jamie Lee Curtis at her best. It's a fun movie. I just have always loved it. I watch it every time it's on. So yeah. 1981 for number 3, and that is My Bloody Valentine. I love this movie. Oh, one of my all-time favorites. I can remember sitting in my brother Butch's house with my niece and nephew, Greg and Dawn. They were in bed, and I'm watching this crazy-ass horror movie. But I fell in love with it. Love that movie. And I love the remake, so. All right, number 2 for me is the 1981 release of The Burning. It was released the same year as Friday the 13th and got no love. And this one is really about, to me, I love Friday the 13th Part 2. If I would have made, it would have definitely been in this top 20, but like I said, I didn't want to do any franchises. But this one, to me, it was just as good as Friday the 13th Part 2. And that brings me to number 1, the 1980 release of my favorite horror movie, The Fog. Adrienne Barbeau. Who did we have? We had Adrienne Barbeau, we had Jamie Lee Curtis, we had Hal Holbrook, and of course Tom. Doesn't get any better. Love this movie. Probably my number 1 all-time favorite horror movie. I've seen this the most, I know. Funny thing about the movie The Fog, I went and saw it at a theater. I lived in a little bitty town in the middle of cornfields, town of 400 in Illinois, and the closest theater was a half hour away. And the town that I went to high school in, middle school and high school, and that was Highland. So I go to the Lorry Theater and watch this movie, and it freaks me out, and I'm driving home, and right as I start, like the last 15 miles of my drive home, it starts getting foggy, which wasn't that uncommon during certain times of the year for there to be fog, because the fields would be wet, and it would be hot, then it would cool off at night, so yeah. The closer I got to home, the foggier it got. I literally ran from my garage to my house to get in from the fog. So, all right, guys, so that is my top 20 for 2020, 80s horror. I hope you liked it. I hope you understand why I didn't do the franchises. A lot of the franchises I only like 1 or 2 out of the whole set, so yeah, I might, maybe Joe or Jason do top 20 of 2020 franchise movies, and you can only do like 1 or maybe 2 out of a franchise. All right, guys, thanks. Have a good one. Talk to you later. Bye.